friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley and today I wanted to sit down and share a story about how when I became a mom, how my mindset going into becoming a mom actually is what caused a lot of stress and lack of joy during the first year of my motherhood journey. I wanted to share this story, and honestly why I created this channel was to help some women not have the same struggle that I did, and have a different mindset, a more positive mindset, more prepared mindset, and to also have the knowledge behind some things that I didn't have that also caused a lot of stress. So basically, it starts out with when I got pregnant. It was pretty unexpectedly. My husband and I had only been married for, I think, 9 months or so, and we weren't trying to get pregnant. So I'm the type of person who thrives on preparing myself beforehand, and going into things unprepared gives me a lot of anxiety, and I'm just typically someone who likes to be as prepared as possible for something. So when we go on vacation, I spend hours upon hours of time preparing for the vacation so that it goes as smoothly as possible. So I always pictured when we would have a baby that I probably would have done some research beforehand on, I guess, how to care for a baby. Mostly the birthing process is something that kind of freaked me out about, and I spent a lot of time while I was pregnant trying to prepare for that, as I'm sure most women do, because it's very unknown. You don't know what to expect because you've never done it before. But that leads me to what happened next. Was because I felt very unprepared, I, of course, went online and started searching things. I don't even honestly remember what I was searching for, but I found YouTube, and I found all of the YouTube moms, and it was extremely popular back then and is still popular now, to record video updates on pregnancy. And so I started binge watching all of these moms who shared every week videos about their symptoms and how they were feeling during their pregnancy, and then their birth stories, and then of course after they had their babies. So I started doing that, and I think I subconsciously decided that the way that things were going for them, or went for them, even though they had different stories, that it would go similarly for me, because I really didn't know what to expect myself. When it came to my friend group, I was the first one to have a baby, and I didn't have anyone close to me to really talk to and prepare me. So during this time, as I'm doing all of this research and learning all of these things about birth and becoming a mom, I am, hit with the same idea that breastfeeding is the best thing that you can do for your baby. It's the best way to bond with your baby. The nutrition is the best for your baby. All of the things. There was really no one that I saw online who wasn't breastfeeding. So I, of course, decided that I am for sure going to breastfeed. I remember having dreams about breastfeeding and the connection that I would have with my baby, and I was so excited about it. All the information that I came across online, which again wasn't, the most reliable information, in the sense of I wasn't watching videos on YouTube by lactation consultants and how-to videos. I was mostly just watching moms share their story of what happened to them. So it was on me that I obviously did the wrong thing and assumed that because what's happening to them will happen to me as well. That's kind of the idea behind what I was thinking. So everything that I came across online, though, basically said that if you just try hard enough, if you do the right thing, if you're gonna hit bumps in the road. Breastfeeding is hard. It's something that you have to learn. It's something the baby has to learn. But if you keep at it, just keep at it, and everything will go fine. You'll figure it out. Just go to lactation consultants. I knew what to look for, in the sense of I knew what a lip tie was. I didn't know what it looked like, of course, but I knew that it could happen and it can affect things. I knew that the very basics of breastfeeding anyway. I even went to the hospital and took a breastfeeding class. I took the birthing class, tried to do all of the right things. Even in the breastfeeding class, I was told the same thing, that if I just stick with it, there can be problems. You can, it might not be easy, it might be really difficult in the beginning, but if you just persevere and you just keep trying, everything will work out in the end. So, of course, this is my mindset going in. And I also had this mindset that I wanted to be the best mom that I could be, of course, right? That's what we all want. We all want to do our best. So I already typically have a very perfectionistic mentality about things already, but I was to the extreme with motherhood, and I hadn't yet realized this, but would quickly, well, actually not so quickly. I wish I would have realized it sooner so that I could have put myself on a more realistic expectation. So I also forgot to mention that not only was everyone saying online that breastfeeding is good for your baby, they're saying that you cannot use formula or it will mess up your milk supply. It won't be as good for baby. So not only did I want to breastfeed, but I was for sure confident that I was going to figure out how to breastfeed exclusively, because that was the golden ticket, right? That was what made you a good mom. At least that was this subtle message that was being tossed around. So even in the breastfeeding class that I took, the lactation consultant who taught the class kind of put down the idea of using formula, and she felt okay doing that, I suppose, because she prefaced it by saying, and of course you guys are going to breastfeed because you're here. But the one thing that I wish I had been prepared for and would have changed everything for me if my mindset was different around was if I was told beforehand that breastfeeding, especially breastfeeding exclusively, just might not be in the cards for me. It might just not be an option, no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do. Sometimes things are just outside of our control, and there's nothing we can do about that, and that's okay. If we try our hardest and we did everything that we can, if that doesn't happen, then you're still a good mom, basically, is what I needed to hear once my baby was here. But that's not what I was told in the breastfeeding class, and it's not really any message that I saw online. So I went into motherhood expecting to exclusively breastfeed, and also having this mindset around I had to exclusively breastfeed to be a good mom. So as you can tell by the way the story is going, once I had my baby, I tried to breastfeed, of course, because I knew how important it was to try to nurse within the first 1 to 2 hours. I took that as I had to do this. If I didn't do this, then breastfeeding was not going to go well. And after I had him, I'm not entirely sure how bad I tore. I know it wasn't a 3rd or 4th degree tear, though. I'm pretty sure it was maybe a 2nd degree tear. But I remember my doctor saying that it was in a weird place. So it took her a very long time to stitch me up. And all this time I was kind of laying more flat on my back. So I was trying to figure out how to start nursing. And my son was rooting around as he was expected to be. And I was all excited about it. But every time he would try to latch on, the pain was excruciating. And at this point, obviously, I did not know how to breastfeed. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was assuming something was going wrong, obviously, because I did not expect it to be that painful. So I kept trying, and I was asking the nurses for help, and they were just saying, it's okay, when you go over to the mother-baby room, they'll help you over there. So I was trying not to stress about it, but I already was off on this very stressed attitude about if I don't get this right now, it's not going to go well. And long story short, breastfeeding did not go well, as I'm sure you could tell by the beginning of the story. But what ended up happening was all throughout the time in the hospital, I couldn't get him to latch on where it didn't hurt. And I kept telling everyone, all the nurses, I saw a lactation consultant twice while we were in the hospital, and I was explaining to them that it just hurt so badly. And they kept reassuring me that, no, his latch looks fine. I asked them, does he have a lip tie? Does he have a tongue tie? Because I knew that was something that I needed to be aware of. I knew it could cause a lot of pain when you're nursing, and they assured me that he does not have a tongue or a lip tie. Everything is fine. You just have to get used to it. So in between his feeds, when it would get closer to him needing a feed, I would literally shake. I'd start shaking because I was just so scared of the pain that I knew was coming. And when we got home from the hospital, I just remember just feeling so overwhelmed at how much pain I was in. And I'll probably do another story about breastfeeding and how it all went and what happened and all the things I tried. But basically what happened was he definitely had a tongue and lip tie. I found out when he was 7 weeks old, which was way too late to save my milk supply. And I had a milk supply, it just was very low. And it caused obviously a lot of pain for me. And in the beginning, he wasn't getting enough food, so I ended up giving him formula, which probably set us back even more. I used a nipple shield, which I also knew you shouldn't do because it can affect your milk supply, but I literally was in so much pain that I couldn't not use it. I ended up seeing 3 lactation consultants out of the hospital to try to get some help, and none of them told me about the tongue and lip tie. I didn't find out until I went to a pediatric dentist, and she finally did something about it. But like I said, it was too late to save my milk supply, which actually goes into obviously what I was talking about earlier, where the mindset thing. I did not have the right mindset. I thought I needed to have this perfect scorecard. I needed to do all the right things to be a good mom. I definitely needed to exclusively breastfeed at the very least, but all of the things that came after, I needed to be as close to perfect as I can be to be good enough for my baby. And that's what this intense love did for me. It just drove me into a really unhealthy mindset that told me that if I was not doing things perfectly, then I was not giving my son what he needed. And that's why I wanted to share my story, because it took me a really long time, like a very long time, way too long, to realize that that is not true. And if I could, like I said earlier, help any woman go into motherhood and not have this mindset, to know that you are not expected to be perfect. God has already made you to be the mom who your baby needs. The love that you have for your baby and the instincts that he has given you is enough for your baby, even when you fall short of what you feel you should be giving your baby. My oldest is now 4.5 years old, and it took me at least through the first year, but really more likely up until his second or third year of life, to like really start allowing that to sink down deep, to know that I was still a good enough mom, that I was giving him the love that he deserved and needed. And I want you to know that if you're watching this and you have this idea in your head that motherhood needs to be X, Y, or Z, you need to be able to stay home with your baby, or you need to exclusively breastfeed, or you need to do whatever you have decided in your head, don't allow yourself to believe that, because it's just not healthy. And if you are not able to do that, I don't want you to feel that you are letting your baby down or not giving your baby the things that your baby needs, because those things are just not true. So like I said, I started this channel to encourage moms to have a healthy mindset, to know that they are already enough for their babies even before their babies are here. And I want to help women with the knowledge that they do need, because there are a lot of things that I wish I had known before I became a mom that I think would have helped me with my mindset, with not expecting to be perfect, or just I spent countless hours like searching for the answers online that I think if I had known while I was pregnant, or even when my baby was really young, that it would have saved me a lot of time and stress. So I want to be that resource for anyone who needs it, and that's what I will be posting about on this channel. I want to post like tips and tricks that I've discovered over the years, breastfeeding tips, because I spent months and months and months and months searching for the answers to my troubles, and my husband used to joke that I was practically a lactation consultant already, and that I should just like be certified, go through whatever it took to be certified, because of how much research and how much knowledge I had gained during that time. So of course I'll include that, because I do know that a lot of women desire to breastfeed because of all of the benefits of it. But I also want to talk about more than just the benefits of breastfeeding. I want to talk about the benefits of allowing ourselves to be in a healthy place and what that means for our babies. So if that means formula feeding, if that means allowing our husbands to do some more work to take care of the baby when they're willing and we just don't want to allow them to because we feel we need to do it all. I want to try to be a helpful resource. So if you think that that would be helpful for you, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let me know of anything that could be helpful that I could cover and that you maybe are searching for. I have already created a postpartum resource. It's basically like a workbook to help yourself mentally prepare to take care of yourself while you are in the postpartum period, because I feel like a lot of moms spend time figuring out how they're going to take care of their babies, but they forget about themselves. So it's just a little workbook about how to mentally prepare to do those things for yourself. So if you're interested in that, I have a link for it below. I also have a video that goes over the stuff that's in the workbook basically. So I will also link that below if you're interested, and I will see you in my next one.